All right, everybody, welcome to our first ever Fitness Anywhere program. This program is designed for you to do in your living room, outside, in your garage, in your gym, outside the gym, wherever you can work out. It'll be done body weight and limited equipment. Today we're going to start things off by taking you through a warm-up, a little superset, and then a finisher. Let's get after it. The jumping jack starts in our closed position and then ends in our open position. This will always be done for multiple reps rather quickly. Now we're going to go ahead and do 1 minute of jumping jacks. Our Spider-Man and reach will start in the top of our plank. We'll bring our right foot out, left knee down, right elbow down, big reach, let your eyes follow. Right knee down, left leg up, left elbow down, big reach. Now go off and do 1 minute of an alternating Spider-Man and reach. For our Samson and reach, we'll start with our feet stacked underneath our hips. Take a nice lunge, step out, interlock those fingers, reach up and overhead, drive that back hip forward, stand, alternate legs, big reach, back hip forward, and feet back underneath the hips. Let's go off and do 1 minute of an alternating Samson and reach. The Bootstrapper stretch combines a squat and a hamstring stretch. So it'll start with your feet right outside your hips, toes slightly splayed. We'll come down, pull on the toes, pull ourselves into the bottom of the squat. We're going to use the elbows to drive the knees out, bring the butt back up, back underneath, rinse, wash, repeat. Let's go off and do 1 minute of a Bootstrapper stretch. Last movement in our warm-up is 20 reps of an alternating fire hydrant. We're going to come down, knees and palms in contact with the ground. We're going to lift the leg, leave the hips static in one position, and then alternate sides for a total of 20 reps. Our superset today is going to be 3 sets of 10 reps of 2 different exercises. The first one is going to be our hammy buck, and the second will be a body weight good morning. We've set up in our living room here, and we're going to be using this little ottoman. You could also use a couch or really any elevated surface that you might have. For our first movement, we're going to start heels elevated, body on the ground, arms flat. All we're going to do is drive through that ottoman till we're fully extended, hold for a second, and then back down. So again, one more good rep here, driving through, everything's locked out, hold for a second. Our second movement is that body weight good morning. Feet are going to be stacked underneath my hips. I'm going to let my knees bend naturally, hinge, feel a nice stretch in my hamstring and my lower back, and stand. Couple things to notice is once that hinge happens, my knees bend slightly, but I'm never shooting the knees forward, making it squatty, anything like that. I'm also not leaving the legs locked out and losing my lumbar. So again, slight bend to the knee, hinge, stand. That'll be 3 sets of 10 with a 1 minute rest. We're going to get warmed up for our finisher, and we're going to go with 30 seconds of slow air squats. We're first going to go over the points of performance with the air squat, and there are going to be 4 of them. We're going to start by making sure that our entire foot is in contact with the ground and our feet are slightly outside of our hips. We're going to splay the toes. From there, when we squat, our hips are going to come back and down. We're going to make sure that our knees track our toes, our chest stays up, and we travel below parallel every time. So again, those 4 points, making sure that we're able to execute those. Now, a good modification for the air squat, if you're having trouble achieving depth, is to use an elevated surface. So today what we're using is this little ottoman. And what we're looking to do is we're going to keep those 3 points of performance. So entire foot in contact with the ground, knees tracking the toes. I'm going to keep my chest up. You're going to notice that I'm not going to collapse onto the object here. So I'm going to go ahead, reach my butt back, tap, and stand. What we don't want to see is losing tension on that object. So that would look like this, coming down, sitting, and then standing. So here's one more good rep of how we're going to modify that air squat. Butt touches, stand again. Go off and do 30 seconds of slow air squats. We're going to go ahead and get into 2 sets of 5 sit-ups. There's 3 different ways we can do our sit-ups. Butterfly, feet flat, or legs straight out. No matter what, we want your shoulders to touch in the back. And in the front, your shoulders clear your hips. Again, let's make sure that we're sitting up all the way and we're never shorting that range of motion. All the way up every time. Let's go off and do 2 sets of 5 reps. Our finisher today is the living room. It's going to be 4 rounds, 2 minutes of cardio, 20 sit-ups, and 20 air squats. For your cardio today, ideally we'd love for you to get outside and do 2 minutes of running, but if we can't get outside, let's sub for a jumping jack, and it's roughly going to be about 120 jumping jacks for those 2 minutes of cardio. Now for our movements today, let's start with the jumping jack. Let's remember that we start in this nice standing position, come into that open position, eyes are forward. Rinse, wash, repeat for those 120 reps. Now, for our sit-ups today, we're going to come down to the ground. We're going to butterfly our feet. When you get to the sit-ups today, this is where you get to breathe and catch your breath. What we're looking to do is reach those arms back, shoulders touching the back, shoulders in front of your hips at the top. 20 reps there. Now, our last movement is our air squat, and this is really your big focus today. Across these 4 rounds, can you continue to focus on those 4 points of performance, which are entire foot in contact with the ground, knees tracking the toes, chest stays up, squatting below parallel every time. And remember, if we do need to modify the squat, we can always use an elevated surface, squatting down, letting our butt touch, and standing all the way up at the top. Let's get after our finisher. Congratulations on finishing your first Fitness Anywhere program. Wherever you're at is the best place to be. Remember, today's day 1, and we're just going to build on it from here. Great work.